4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And with that, we have another edition of the Astro Weather. I am your Astro Weatherman, Robert Phoenix, and we definitely have a change of light here in the morning. It is now darker than it has been for the past few months. Maybe it's a metaphor. Maybe it is a metaphor for the darkness that is encircling us as we speak. We're going to get into, of course, the topic du jour over on 15 Minutes today, and there is a link inside the chat. And, we'll be talking about the old Middle East, because that seems to be on the menu. Although somebody said that we've already won and we're about to draw everything to a close and move on. And well, then they said we're not. So we're getting a little mixed messages here. Did we win or did we not win? Is it too much winning? Not enough winning? We're gonna try to pull it all apart and put it back together again over on 15. So please join us if you want to somehow deal with this disincarnate insanity, which is really what it seems to be. Have you guys seen the videos of the all the crowds, like insane crowds at the airports? Like in Miami last night, they had all these people out on basically emptied the entire airport. Once you, there's a certain amount of chaos that's okay. There's creative chaos, and then there's destructive chaos. And I think they're invoking destructive chaos as we speak. So anyway, we have a lot to talk about, especially on the astrological side. We'll get into the weeds on the other side. But how is everybody? You doing all right? Doing all right? We had DJ MC. We have, the great Neil Smith's with us. California Contrary, Rosie Posey. Rosie Posey misbehaving too. Jackie Delario. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Lana Winkler, what's up? Kind of soggy in the old cornfields. Ole Kobe. Greetings. Mark S. in the house. Sally Hiller's 77th birthday to me. Hey, Sally. Hope it's better than last year. Well, Sally, chances are that it'll be different. It'll be different. And we all wish you a very happy solar return on this day today, the 10th day of March. And have a great spin around the sun. May all your wishes and dreams and hopes come true. And the ones that don't, may you be able to release them and be grateful for whatever it is that showed up in its place. There she is, the lovely and talented one, just getting over a big birthday weekend. Thor at the door. There's my man, Steve. What's up? Misbehaving too in the house. Barbara Boots is here. Not thrilled with these aspects for solar return, though. Could be worse. Could be worse. You could have a lot more mutable tension in your chart. Let's put it that way. Been learning astrology since I was 14 years old, and Robert is the best. Well, thank you, Sally. I don't know if I'm the best, but I certainly enjoy what I do, and I enjoy doing it with you. We get to do it together. Amy V is here. Julie Sunshine, 333. What's going on? Tammy Lynn. We got a Tammy Lynn sighting. Hi, Tammy Lynn. Maria Deange. Trey Continental. Good to see you. Dead Wolf Resistance 13. What's up? He's our guardian. He's our guardian of the North. He guards the northern gate. We're safe with him up there. Seems like time changes earlier this year. I know, right? Woke 110 minutes ago, off to walk the dog. Can't text. Okay, Scrubbies, enjoy your day. Georgia Ruth is with us. Going from 70 to snow up there in Michigan. Garrett, the thumbnail was killer. Oh, you like that? The killer whale thumbnail. Yes, there you go. We got a killer whale thumbnail. That's right. Let's see. Whoops. My mother was from Stillwater, Minneapolis. Is that Minneapolis? Minnesota. When I get down, I just think of how much fun the evil ones are having. Oh yeah, they're having a rave. Molech on the turntables. We got Desi Logan having lamb stew. Oh, good. It sounds delicious. Rachel Myers is with us. So is Lorianne. Love from Minnesota. Ratchet Boo. Hey. Sarah E. Caleb. Hi, Sarah E. Caleb. Let's see. Did we get through everybody here? I think we're all present and accounted for. Katie Lane. Saturday couldn't sleep, and Sunday I was so anxious, agoraphobic. Did not leave my bed all day. It was hurting to lay in bed that long, but I couldn't shake it. I'm telling you, man. There's some weird vibes and weird feelings in the air. I got my taste of the new gas prices yesterday. That was fun. Not. And shit, we have it pretty good here. You know, you folks in California, it was painful. We got to pay the California tax for living in California. Today, yesterday, better vibes. I would say good. Yeah, good. Better vibes are good vibes. All right, I think we're. My God, Julie, that's kind of scary. I haven't left my house so long. I got 3 flat tires and my license expired. Easy to, I mean, you know, we've got so many things like with Uber and DoorDash, and even grocery stores will deliver their product to you. You don't have to leave your house now. Gas in Indiana went up 75 cents. Yep, went up 61 cents here. 61 cents a gallon. And that's going to have its impact on our goods, our food, everything that we have that is part of our lives. Will take on the burden of the cost with increased fuel prices, and we know all that. Yeah, I don't like a bunch of strangers knowing where I live. Yeah, I understand that. I could completely understand that. What's really unnerving is knowing that a small group of strangers know where you live. That's more unnerving. And they do know where you live, right? And it's not the large group. It's the very small, select group that seems to be listening all the time. Let's see. I don't really stay at home, on the move all the time. Yes, you are. You are very active. Okay, why don't we get into some weather? Looks like we're peaking at about 102. Oh, we got Makeda, Soul of Sheba. What's happening? Good to see you. Let's see. All right. Let's get into the weather. And I always have to, they watch you from the sky. They watch you from the sky. They watch you from the ground. They listen through your phone. You know that they're around. It always feels like somebody's watching me. All right, here we go. They watch you from your TV. Yeah, that was a thing for a while, wasn't it? Diane's with us. Hi, Diane from New York. The TV was a two-way medium. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay. Here we go. Sun almost right on the ascendant. Just, daylight savings time. It's rising. Sun is rising as we begin the show right there. And where's our moon? Oh, here's our moon instead. This is the day. We're in the corridor now. This is what I talked about on Sunday night. Keep your eyes on this Sagittarian moon. This next lunar cycle that we're in right now, from basically 3/4 waning gibbous, 3/4 waning gibbous, all the way to the new moon into Aries. This is a very critical lunar cycle. So we talked about this on Sunday night. God, all of a sudden, I am not dealing with the sinus stuff anymore until I start the show. Like, what the fuck is up with that? Maybe I'm allergic to doing the show. Maybe that's it, Peachy. Maybe that's it. You want to come up here? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come be the Astro Weather cat. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Peachy's here. She's going to be joining us on today's show. There she is. The Astro Weather cat. So this is a very critical lunar phase. And I talked about this on Sunday night. I just, I hate, I just don't, I love the moon in Sag. I mean, it is a jocular and ribald moon, right? I love the moon in Sag. People have moon in Sag generally have pretty good attitudes. They may tend to overdo things a little bit at times, but hey, why not? But it's almost always enthusiastic, and again, it depends on what phase it's at. I mean, clearly, not all moons are the same based on their position, but by and large, it's still a very good moon. I like it. Underrated. I think the Sag moon is underrated. Let's put it that way. But what is it doing? It's squaring the sun and squaring Mercury and squaring Mars and all that mutability. And, and we're in such a precarious time that when I see a square like this, I get a little nervous. I start to think of the moon being related to home, right? And domestic. I mean, whenever we think of the moon, we invoke the fourth house, which is the ruling house of the moon. So we invoke the fourth house. And Sagittarius is not domestic. It's not local. It's from another land, right? With the moon in Sagittarius. And right now, as we speak, it's actually in the 9th house. So it's in the house of Sag. And you begin to, kind of add that up as a profile. Okay, well, somebody from another land acting perhaps out of character, maybe invoking some lunacy, right? I mean, this is a weird day energetically, because we start off with that Sun Moon square and the Mercury Moon square and the Mars Moon square, and it's like, doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. Meanwhile, we got the Moon trine Venus, Moon trine Saturn, and this is exactly what I was talking about. This is where the energy basically, it's sort of like dark side of the moon, and the light is shot through the prism, and then it begins to diffract. This is sort of a diffracting lunar phase with what's going on with all the squares to the mutability. So it almost feels like, well, first of all, I think the moon, especially in Sagittarius, really accentuates the potential for anxiety as it squares all these mutable planets. That's the baseline interpretation. Like, it stirs up anxiety. Now, we want to believe that things are going to be okay. I mean, because that's what, in a lot of ways, that's always been part of the American story. Like, we'll get through this, or, we'll innovate, or we'll, cooler heads will prevail, or the adults will enter the conversation. And I think we've lost a lot of that. And a lot of people placed a great deal of faith and credit in Trump in order to be the person that would theoretically guide us through a storm. And we're clearly in a storm, and I'm not really feeling the steady hand of the commander in chief. Let's put it that way. The other side of this is, there is some enthusiasm, there is some fire, there is some passion, but it feels like, okay, you can have two paths. We'll break it down for you so that you can use this as something tangible. There's two paths. There's one path that is guided by fear. And I think with probably some degree of good reason, apprehension at the very least, this is one path. And then there's another path that is guided by affirmation. So let's take it from that angle. Let's take it from this angle and this angle. So the path of affirmation is the moon trine Neptune, trine Saturn, trine Venus. Okay. And then no matter what happens or what goes on, right, you're going to be a glass half full person. It doesn't mean that you're going to co-sign on whatever is happening halfway around the world. The two of them can be mutually exclusive. So you have to stake out your own territory and your own emotional sovereignty. And this could be one of those days where we claim it, right? I'm giving you another way to look at this. It's a way to move through anxiety, which I do believe that this moon in Sagittarius is bringing to the table today. It's a way for you to move through anxiety and to move into a state of affirmation. So I would say, at the very least, acknowledge your apprehension or fear if you have it, and then affirm and decree that today is a day that you will engage in a meaningful pursuit of your emotional expression. And that I wouldn't say it's an attempt to be busy, but I do think it's one of those days where you can throw yourself into something and put some effort into it. And, with Moon in Sagittarius, whistle while you work a little. right? So there's some options today. We're in a mutable world. So there's some options, and that's clearly one of them. But you have to kind of go through the anxiety part, acknowledge it, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to rally the troops here, and I'm going to double down on being. I wouldn't use the word hopeful, affirmative. I'm going to check in on the side of affirmation. But the thing with Aries is that you have to do something. That's the nature of Aries. Aries isn't. It's there's action involved, and the biggest action is that trine with Venus. I know this sounds crazy, but if you're in sales, today could actually be a really good day for salespeople with that Venus moon trine, especially if you're selling firearms. No, I'm just kidding. And then the moon Saturn trine is sober, isn't it? It's really, really sober. And we're coming out of that moon Neptune trine. How did people dream last night? Curious about that. We also have another trine going on. And of course, that's with Jupiter. And we have the Sun, Mercury retrograde, and Mars. They're all coming in and they're starting to trine into Jupiter. Jupiter goes direct tomorrow. Jupiter's been stationing. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this Jupiter direct plays out, especially as Saturn Venus, particularly Venus, moves into a tighter square with Jupiter. For me, Venus Jupiter squares are over promising. It's completely over promising. Like, I highly suggest that you take everything with a grain of salt as Venus moves into that deeper square with Jupiter, even though Jupiter goes direct. I do think in some ways it can help you get over the hurdle with certain relationships that you need to perhaps mend some fences. Like, Jupiter can work that way with a square. It's like it can be a long, maybe a bridge too far, but it might be worth building it and crossing it at the very least. Jupiter gives a sense of, well, this could be possible. That's the nature of Jupiter squares. They're sort of bringing more potentiality into the experience, into the moment. I call it the gambler square. It's about taking risks. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Jupiter goes direct. Are we going to have a wave of patriotism, or are we going to have more people that are going to chime in on this whole America first idea? This is going to be very interesting. Redirection of Jupiter's energy. I think within the next week, and it's quite possible that we'll see both, because that's also a nature of that Venus square, especially in Aries. There are people that are, they're passionate about this war. Like, wow, kind of blow my mind. You're passionate about this war. We'll get into more of it. I don't want to get too bogged down into the weeds. The challenge with today is that we don't have a lot of air. We got Pluto. We have Pluto and Vesta. Just not a lot of. We won't get a kind of a breath of more air until the moon goes into Aquarius in 4 days. So yeah, we don't have a lot of air, which means we don't have a lot of objectivity, and we have a ton of fire. So emotions and passions are running high, very high. Not a lot of earth either. We've got Uranus, which is at 27 Taurus. So it's at the end. The 27th and the 28th degree of a sign is, especially the 28 degrees, it's the energy's crazy. It's all over the place, and Uranus is headed towards crazy. And you think, well, can there be more chaos? Yeah. So we don't have a lot of earth either. We have Juno, little Juno, sort of holding up the planet right now in Capricorn. So we don't have a lot of air, which means that objectivity is kind of at an all-time low, right? And we don't have a lot of earth, which means that being grounded is not part of the menu. So what do you do with something like that? Okay, well, with the lack of earth, you got to go out and get some. You guys know what to do. Go outside, put your feet on the ground for a half an hour, and bring the earth into you. Right? This is and then there are certain foods that are very earthy foods. I'm not a big grain person myself, but I would say looking at even though it's not that really that time of year, but looking at like things like root vegetables can be really, really good when, especially I guess if you're up in Michigan where it's about to snow. So things like parsnips and carrots and turnips, anything that's sort of root related, get yourself a really not, I like to do like, roasting a chicken with those kinds of vegetables. You just get a pan and you put all those vegetables around the chicken, throw some olive oil and some rosemary, sprinkle some salt and pepper on the chicken and stick it in your oven and you bake it basically, right? It gets all crispy and the vegetables get all sort of moist and juicy from the chicken juices. I mean, that's a nice earth meal if so these are some of the things I would do in the absence of earth. Because you want to stay grounded. I mean, the energy is all over the fucking place. And then the air part is be aware of your breathing. Be aware of your breath, right? Oh, yeah, I am alive. I'm respirating. Yeah, that's right. Maybe make that a conscious effort today with this lack of air so that you're essentially consciously respirating. That would be very, very helpful. Some people actually add stabilized liquid oxygen to their water. I used to do that. That may not be a bad idea, but make sure you get enough air. I know it sounds corny and trite, but it's true. A lot of times our breathing is shallow and we're just kind of on automatic pilot. Be aware of it, right? And then there's another level of awareness that you're bringing in not just air, but you're bringing in spirit, pneuma. The ether itself is contained within that breath. And I do believe that there is a very valid strategy of acknowledging that what you're bringing in isn't just oxygen, that, yeah, this is the life force, this is prana. And it's filling every cell of your body. And when you're aware of it, it activates it. So these are just some strategies to deal with the fact that we got no air, we got no water. We have a lot of fire, heat, passion, and we have a lot of water, which is, can take you under. And once Jupiter goes direct, I talked about this on Sunday night. Get out there and plant those victory gardens, boys and girls. You may need them. You may need them. You may need to supplement your food stocks here. And I do think that if you can wait for that new moon in Pisces to do your planting, I think it's going to be it could be a really good season. Really, really good season. Is there anything else here? Yeah, we have Chiron conjuncting Ceres. Yeah, I really feel like when we get into Chiron and Aries, one of the things that often is not discussed with Chiron and Aries is mental health. Because Aries is the head, right? It's the head. We know it's the head. And somewhere in the head, you've got a brain. And that's all contained in the Aries structure of the head. And Chiron is at times the wounded head or the wounded brain. You'd be amazed at how many people who have Chiron and Aries have had some kind of like blow to their heads or something going on with, sometimes you can also have some issues, especially if Chiron's at like 0-1 around childbirth. It's interesting. Anyway, so when we have Ceres conjuncting Chiron, it feels like that's a prescription for your mental health and to take care of it, right? Take care of what's between your ears. Today, I'm feeling very Virgo today. I'm giving you solutions today. So take care of your mental health. It's important. So what do I mean by that? Be mindful of what you let in between your two ears. And I think being aware is good. Don't get me wrong. Awareness is good. I think a steady diet of doom scrolling is not good. Take a break from the doom scroll every now and then. Also, look at your thoughts. And what thoughts are you allowing into your brain? Right? And the whole Zen Buddhist trick is just watch them. Oh, look at that. Interesting thought. And eventually the monkey mind stops spinning. You go, okay, good. Are you done? Are you done bringing out your worst possible scenario? So take care of your mental health today. Today is, I think, a really good maintenance day. We got getting in touch with the earth, root vegetables, anything that grounds you, being conscious and aware of the air and being able to take it in, and also the space between your ears and what you allow in there. Stay aware, but don't overdose, because you can overdose on with that Jupiter square to Chiron. You can overdose on the doom scroll. In order to feel safer, a lot of times we think we need to know more information, and I think there's some truth to that, but then there's a layer to that where it just becomes paralytic. So, yeah, there you go. That's your Astro Weather for today, the 10th of March, the year 2026, the year of our Lord. Okay, let's go over to our True Hemp Science. God, I can't believe we are really ahead of schedule today. And it feels like I've talked a lot. It feels like I've actually said quite a bit today. It's so odd that we have like 20 minutes left. Let's go into Banner space, Bruce Banner. There we go. And why don't we throw up a little True Hemp Science today? There it is right there. Chris has such a great website. I love his website. Let's check it out. Here we go. This is what you see when you go to truehempscience.com. Highly bioavailable. And look at that. 20% off your first purchase. Look at that. Get your email, sign me up. And the emails are good. They're not obnoxious emails. You'll be alerted to like sale items and things that are going on product wise. So I think it's a good deal. And Chris is also a healer, so you get probably some healing tips in there with your emails as well. So you go here, truehempscience.com, become a first-time buyer, and you get the 20% off deal. There's all kinds of great products. They're bioavailable. They're organic. This is the stuff right here. Type in 15MINS and you will get a goodie bag on top of your order of $100 or more. Let's look at some of these reviews. Lisa Wilder. True Hemp Science has been the best product for my stressful life. Tom Rowland, I've been going to Hemp Science for the last 18 months for issues related to sleep and chronic pain. I came here when I was experiencing chronic pain, and they helped me so much. So there you go. Some good testimonials. Remember, 15MINS is your code for the goodie bag on top of your first-time order. And if you want, you can book a consultation over there as well. Find out what products work for you. Okay. Let's go to our True Hemp Science star of the day. It is James Earl Ray. I spelt his name with a W. I don't know why. I was thinking of Link Ray. It should be R-A-Y. My bad. And then there's also like Christopher Ray. But he's Ray. He's got 3 first names as his name. James Earl Ray. I don't even think that's his real name. And there are times when I'll look at people, like look at their biographies. James Earl Ray, that's his real name. 3 first names. Never name your kid 3 first names. So, I know a little bit about the guy. But what we're going to do is we're going to read his chart. And one of the things that comes across with this chart is Patsy. He's got Patsy written all over his chart. How do I see that? Well, when you have Neptune in the first house, people that have Neptune in the first house, and to a lesser extent, I'd say Pisces rising, those people become scapegoats for others in their lives. It's very weird having Neptune in the first house, because it's like a mirror that reflects back to people, and they have a strange way of interpreting who that person is. So a lot of times what happens with Pisces Neptune in the first house is that the person who is viewing the person with Neptune in the first house sees that person as a reflection of themselves, but not always in the most positive way. Because that's how Neptune operates in the first. Like how when you look into like a small pond, right, or some water, you can actually see your reflection in the water, but it's kind of distorted, right? That's what Neptune in the first house is like. So people will project themselves onto the individual depending upon who they are and where they're at. That's the nature of it. Like a positive expression of Neptune in the first is that Sometimes people will put first house Neptune people on a bit of a pedestal. If the thing that they're reflecting and projecting is the better parts of their nature. But then they run the risk of having that reflection, projection go dark. And now they're perceived in a very different kind of way. And so we run into scapegoat territory with Neptune in the first house. And people that have it really have to learn how to deal with forgiveness because of the things that can be potentially done to them. And when you look at James Earl Ray's chart, you've got Mercury and Venus over on the other side of Neptune, right? So he's got these oppositions to Neptune. And those are tricky because they're both in fixed signs. And people see what they want to see. People hear what they want to hear. And he just, he just feels very scapegoaty to me. And I don't know, again, what kind of program this guy was under, because he just seems so disassociative in this picture. And even Neptune in the first house can be very disassociative. People have Pluto in the 12th house. It's an intense place for Pluto. I mean, even if Pluto has some reasonable relationships in the chart, like the Sun-Pluto trine or the Moon-Pluto trine, like, I don't know. I mean, Pluto in the 12th can be hiding very deep and traumatic wounding, very, very deep. But it's also strange when you look at the amount of people that have Pluto in their 12th house. A lot of them are really driven. I don't think James Earl Ray was driven, especially with that Jupiter square with Pluto. I think there could be some real laziness and even some pathology with that. I do think that there's a very good chance that he suffered at the hands of abuse and molestation, and that'll fracture you pretty good, right? I mean, you can see that the sun is in the 8th house here, and the sun is in the underworld. And it's, again, just like with Neptune in the first, kind of occluding and occulting the identity and the self. Nobody really sees the true James Earl Ray. I mean, it's always a part of his chart, right? And that is the nature of an 8th house sun. It is a difficult placement. Very difficult placement. And he's got that square with Saturn, and Saturn is the father. Bad shit happened to this kid in his childhood. I'm telling you right now. Really bad shit. And it affected his personality. I think also he probably had a very vivid fantasy life in some ways. And when I say vivid fantasy life, I would, he's not like Tolkien, but fantasy life in the sense that I think there's a bit of a disassociative quality to him. With Mercury opposing Neptune and Venus opposing Neptune, it's sort of like, I'll say anything. I'll think anything. It's highly programmable too. Right? Mercury and Venus are highly, highly programmable with that Neptune opposition. You get under that hood and you start tinkering around in there and maybe a little chemical experimentation. Clearly, this is a person who should not drink. Drinking, not good for Mr. Ray, Mr. James Earl Ray. He's got a Mars Moon square, Mars and Aquarius. That's a tip of the T-square, isn't it? With Chiron and the moon. Short-tempered. He's got, he has a short temper. And again, Mars and Aquarius. I talked about that the other night with Marco Rubio. It's a cold motherfucking Mars. It just is. It can be very calculated. But he also has a sextile to the sextile to Jupiter. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I would say from a positive perspective, at the very least, it would kind of help him get up off his feet. This guy looks like he's been knocked down a lot in life, to be honest with you. Is he a bad person? Was he born a bad person or an evil spirit? I'm going to say no. I don't think he was born evil. I think James Earl Ray is a byproduct of something very deep, dark, and traumatic that happened to him when he was young. And it has to do with the father. And then there's also something very institutional about Saturn as well. Like there's a reenactment of the darkness. Interesting. So there are a lot of people who believe that this guy was innocent and that he was totally set up to do the whole thing. And I don't have a problem with that. Knowing what I know about the machinations around King's death, I don't think this guy was capable of pulling it off. Let's just say it was a team effort. But if I had James Earl Ray as a client, that'd be interesting. It would definitely be interesting. What would I tell James Earl Ray? Well, James, you got to tell the truth. And don't drink. And stay away from those drugs. And the sun in the 8th house is just such a difficult position. Like that's your expression. You're an 8th house person. Go be a forensic accountant. Or maybe work on cars. That's what I say. Go get your auto tech license. Back in the day, they didn't have that. This guy was born in 1928. So by the time 1968 rolls around, he's 40 years old. Just coming out of his Uranus opposition. Anyway, there you go. There's your True Hemp Science story. Again, not a lot of earth. Not very grounded. Eat your root vegetables so you don't wind up like James Earl Ray. He got plenty of air in that chart, doesn't he? This is a difficult chart. I think with the sun in the 8th and Neptune in the 1st, those are two significant obstacles to overcome in life. It's not impossible, but two really significant obstacles to overcome in life. And especially with that sun, the sun-Neptune square can make you stronger. But, and even Pluto, right? Like, the 12th house is prisons. That's another thing about his Pluto. The guy went to fucking jail, went to prison there for life. And you've got that Jupiter square, and it's like, really? Did he really do it? That's what that Jupiter square brings up, especially in Aries, in firearms and gunshots and all the things that go along with Aries. It's like, Jupiter tends to conflate things. But ultimately, that's where he wound up. Pluto in Cancer, 12th house. The big house. All right, there you go. Look at this. I'm actually ending the show early today. And I feel like I've been very economical in my delivery and approach. And I've given you lots of goodies to nibble on here at the beginning of your day. So if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, resubscribe if you've been unsubscribed. That's always something to keep an eye out on, getting unsubscribed. You can also support the show by buying me a cup of coffee. And there is a link for that in the description for the show. Also, for those of you who are technologically savvy, there is a QR code at the upper right with Jasper's picture on the inside of it. And you can feel free to donate and help support the show. At the very least, hit the like and subscribe. I will be headed over to 15 Minutes of Flame. So meet me over there, and we'll catch up with the latest in the Middle East, Iran, and what's happening globally as this drama unfolds. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Go back and listen to the weather. I think there's a lot of really good tips in there for you today. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. God bless you all. Love you all. Chatari, you're the best. Take care. Bye for now.